What up, world, and welcome to another episode of Beer Talk Now. I'm your host, D. Neal, and on today's episode, we headed all the way to Arkansas, baby. Razorback, let's get it with Core Brewing Company. And I always got another special guest of mine, a close podcast friend. I don't know what's the term we use, Ben, for podcast tour or something of that nature. I don't know. We're gonna roll with that. It's Barley and me. Come on, man. Straight out of Sacktown, Sacramento, California. Shout out Sacramento. I love Sacramento a lot.
Good having me, D.
Yes. What's going on with you? Jamie. I didn't even introduce Jamie. Jamie Conway, the lead brewer at Core Brewing Company in Arkansas. How you doing today?
Doing well, man. Glad to be here.
Ben, what's going on with you?
Nothing, man. I'm just glad we can finally do this. We did an episode together on my podcast with Core, and we fudged the beer side. So I'm glad to finally be able to drink these Core beers with you.
Yeah, glad we finally got you guys on.
Yeah, so that's what I'm here for. I'm like, let's taste these beers we talked about at length previously.
Yeah, so as we always do, we talk about the beers first, and so I'm going to go through what we have here. We have a wonderful kettle sour, which again I'm just calling wonderful by the can art. This is called Falling Ladders Blueberry Cobbler. All right, come on now, you gotta love that. Definitely shaped up for the cobbler. From there, we're gonna jump into Larry's Lager. I like that. Shout out to the Bulldogs. All right. From there, we're going Raspberry Lager. Come on now, I gotta get my camera thing right. All right. Then we're jumping into another. Again, love this. This reminds me of Bleach, the anime. Right here, we're doing the Los Santos, the IPA. And then we're going to finish it off with Off the Juice. I said Off the Juicy. Off the Juice. So as we crack open this, hopefully we're still doing that. As we crack off on that one, Jamie, just give me like Arkansas craft beer at this current point in time and how Core Brewing Company is really impacting what that culture looks like.
We just mainly innovation, man. That's kind of what we're really, really trying to push. Like I was telling you guys previously, aside from our beer offerings, our seltzer is just going ham right now. I mean, we can't make that stuff fast enough. We're about to host a seltzer festival this weekend. With some other local offerings and other things you can get. And then we just released a line of RTDs. We have a gin and tonic canned cocktail, a rum island inspired one, and then a peach vodka cocktail that just came out that we're all really excited about and that's doing really well in the market.
That sounds beautiful. Now seltzers with Arkansas and the craft beer scene that's starting off there or in the process as you guys are doing. What are seltzers doing just throughout Arkansas in general? Is it like everybody's on the seltzer game or what's going on with that? Because I know. Well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, being in a college town, our brewery's less than 20 minutes away from the university, and we're the official craft brewery of the University of Arkansas. So, the young ladies definitely seem to be a big part of our demographic. We have a lot of them that are ambassadors and things like that. And even the people that are, ours is very low calorie. It's 84 calories and like half a carb. So, we're a lot less than your Trulies and things like that. And we also the flavors have, a minimum of 4 to 5 different flavors that are melded together for each one. So, that kind of sets us apart from just getting like a black cherry or a pineapple or something like that from some of the big name players. And we're in Walmart's backyard, so it's been really good to go up against some of those big dogs and, put a dent in their market share.
Man, that's what I'm talking about. Competition, but collaboration all at the same time. Friendly as all. Loving this. Again, kettle sours are probably what got me into sours in the first place. So, shout out to Chris, the craft beer connoisseur. She definitely is always big on sours, kettle. Then she does gozes and all that. But yeah, man, I'm loving this. The color of it, the taste it really does taste like a cobbler. Not a whole bunch of cinnamon in there as you would get, but you do get some some of those flavors that if you were eating a blueberry cobbler that you would definitely enjoy. Ben, what are you thinking?
Well, mine got a little bombed on me, just all head initially. So I'm cutting through that. It's tart, which I always love in a sour. I think people kind of go away from that and kind of go to like more friendly flavors, but I love me a tart sour. So
yeah, I was real happy with that one. We used a new yeast supplier when we did that one from some of the previous editions of that, and I was really stoked with, like, it was very tart, but it was very, very clean as far as the tartness and sourness of it. And then I hope you kept it cold, because I put a lot of real blueberries in that thing, and if it gets a little too warm, they could definitely be bombs.
yeah, I threw mine in the basement, so it was like pretty cool. But I don't know how these 118-degree days are doing to it. So
how dare you throw it in the basement, Ben? Put it in the refrigerator, man. What's wrong with you?
I don't got room in the fridge for that. I have like 180 beers on me at any one time. I can't just be putting them all in the fridge.
I mean, that means
That's crazy talk.
That means I need to come over and we need to drink more beer. That's exactly what that means.
Please do.
Exactly.
Especially with the restrictions gone. All right. Mask off in California. We're living life.
I got a backyard. It'll be great.
So Jamie, just so Core Brewing, like what's the mission of Core Brewing, and then how is Core Brewing continuing to position itself as, again, I want to call it the staple of Arkansas craft beer, because you and I have had a conversation with Ben on Ben's podcast, Barley and Me podcast, where Arkansas just was not. That was just something where people were very skeptical about what craft beer was, and then with Core Brewing Company, it seems like, especially being with the Razorbacks and being able to promote different types of beer, people are opening their minds into Arkansas. So what's going on with Core in that aspect?
Yeah, you have to forgive me. Some of your questions started to break up, so I missed about half of it.
Okay.
but as far as I definitely heard the university, as far as that, with the pandemic, it was definitely unfortunate timing, because shortly after we became the official craft brewery and the SEC conference allowed us to start serving in games, or at the stadiums. Being the first one in there was pretty good, and then our football team unfortunately had a rough season, and then the pandemic hit. So we're just now kind of starting to see things come around where, hopefully this season we'll get full capacity and be able to really get to see a lot more product moving, in the stadium. But our baseball team did a really good season, and like seeing people, holding up beers and having a packed house was really cool to see. And, as far as the state goes, every day there's more people trying it out. And it's, somewhat surprising that I've seen 4 or 5 new ones open, here recently across the state, which is awesome. I'm glad people are still able to, kind of try to move forward coming through this pandemic, because I know a lot of people really got hurt, and, a lot of guys didn't make it. So, all the competition, all the innovation is great. We try to have a good relationship with the other breweries across the state. I would say we were one of the forefathers as far as like the people that were really kind of starting to do it. I think per yearly barrelage, we're number 2 or 3. I'm sure after this year, with how well we've done with everything else, we'll be up in the top 2 as far as production and everything. So, there's some big players, and then there's just a lot of smaller microbreweries and, just small things opening up. But it's really cool and exciting to see, giving the native, more,
Yeah, we got a little hiccup on your end. No, you're all right, Jim. Now that I guess the other parts of the question I was saying, as far as like how's Core being like and I call it the staple, but I really was just trying to get across the point that craft beer is really being introduced, at least in the perspective that I get from the conversations we have, through Core Brewing Company to Arkansas. And so I really wanted to talk about the ways that Core is doing that to introduce this to people in Arkansas who are just kind of like, I don't know. $8 for a 12-ounce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still that. It's a lot of the people are still coming out of that Bud Light, kind of thing like that, where they don't want to pay more than $3 or $4 for a pint. But we do have a lot of, like I said, craft beer is growing here. We have a good partnership with Walmart. They're also located in our backyard, and we have a great partnership with them. So a lot of those beers, like the lagers that you guys have, Los Santos and all that, is available on all the shelves across the state. So I think, even some of our designs, people that wouldn't normally maybe buy craft beer, see some of our labels and things like that and might give it a try and, open their eyes to what more beer could be rather than just, your typical light lager.
Exactly. And speaking of lagers, we're going into to the next beer, which is going to be Larry's Lager. All right. Look at that thing. Beautiful. Now, again, these are not super high ABV, but that's all right. We got some barley wine in the background, but we're not pulling that out today because Ben, for some reason, probably.
No, you can. I'm just not going to burn my bottle this early. I love an aged barley wine, man.
Come on, Ben. You're messing.
Yeah.
You're
selfish.
I will say, so far that batch one barley wine has definitely been our pride and joy. It's the hardest on a beer. Rodrigo and I probably ever worked on, and we sent it in craft beer and brewing and got, I think we got a 92 for a score for that. So with our first release, coming out of a barrel and getting that high of a score was super exciting for us.
That sounds amazing, man. I know that just inspired you to say, let's do more. Now, when it comes to the actual day-to-day interaction with your community, we talked earlier about you having ambassadors for the craft beer, which I think is great, especially on the college campus. How do you interact with the community around you to get them to come through the door and get them to try Core? Excuse me, getting burps already. Core Brewing Company beer.
Just having just an open door policy. We're always around. We've got people all over trying to be in as many locations as we can. Try to always give back to the community. Things like that. We were sending pizzas to the local hospitals during COVID for just as thank yous to the nurses that were putting in work in the COVID areas. Again, having that relationship with the university brings so many people in, and our pub is off the kind of the beaten path, our brewery. So you have to make it a point to kind of come to where we're located, and through social media, through all those things, we're always ready to donate to different charities, and if someone's having some kind of gala or something like that, like we try to be the first ones in there to supply beverages and things like that, just to be a part of the community, and that's what it's all about for everybody. So just things like that, and just constantly, like, we're everybody's neighbors. We're people's brothers, husbands, all that stuff. So we are the community just like everybody else. So I would say just things like that, man.
Cheers to that, because we're on beer number 2. All right, beer number 2.
That's that Larry's Lager. This is legit. It's so bright and crisp, and like a little bit of that, adjunct-y feel to it. That riciness that you would get in a light lager. I think you're putting your competitors to bed on this one. Like
that one's
ones.
that one's, when we're brewing it, that's definitely like our favorite smelling mash. It's got rolled corn in it, and it just always smells like just the sweet corn, and you just get all the sweetness in the air, and that's definitely like the one that you really enjoy brewing and smelling. And we really take our time to lager that 2 months and give it a proper diacetyl rest, and just there's nothing you can hide behind in a lager. You know what I mean? You can't hide behind hops, you can't hide behind color. It's just a super technical beer to brew, and it's just got to be spot on. And that's kind of our answer to the macro breweries. And it's got our owner's dog, Larry, our chief morale officer at work. He's there every day on site. So that's
shout out Larry.
Yeah, shout out to Larry. So we're super dog friendly by the Core logo and all that, and yeah, that's just our answer to if you like Budweiser, Miller or whatever, it's like try this one because it's honestly very much the same pricing, very competitive.
Okay, just what I was going to ask.
Yeah, so you can enter that craft market for basically the same price point with that beer.
That's awesome because it's way better. I love this one. This is one of the best lagers I've had.
Awesome, thank you.
Coming from Ben, that's high.
I love
that's high praise right there. Coming from Ben, I'm not gonna lie, that's some high praise. Ben, this is not just the show about Beer Talk Now asking questions, man. Come on, Barley and me. I know you got questions, man.
I got no questions. We already did this. I already asked all the questions.
Come on, you gotta ask multiple.
It's your turn to ask the questions.
I know. I got plenty of them. So when it comes to the Brew Team, okay, what is everyone drinking every day when they get their 1 or 2 pints in their 8-hour shift? I'm loving the Larry's Lager, like Ben mentioned. Can't wait to try this raspberry one and see how that fares. But what is the Brew Team drinking? And on top of that, what do they want to experiment with? What do they come to you and you all sit down and say, you know what, we want to make this, or we want to add something to it, whether it's the fruited beers like this, again, raspberry lager that's coming up real soon, or something else. Maybe they want to do some more pungentness with this sour, or maybe a saison or something. What's the conversations like in the brewery when it comes to what you're making? Yeah,
for me, probably like if I was going to grab something quick, it would be a Los Santos or the Larry's Lager. I see a lot of the packaging guys after we do a packaging run hitting up the Los Santos a lot. It's super juicy, and it's just a really, really solid. It's a staple beer of ours. I'm always getting asked to when's the next Falling Ladders coming out, which I'll be brewing in the next week or two, and gonna probably do like a strawberry daiquiri themed.
Oh, nice, Jamie. Nice. There you go. Step your game in.
So things like that, and we're really proud of our hazy IPAs as well. So we'll dance with anybody around here who wants to go hazy for hazy. So that's kind of always Rodrigo and I's thing is we work together and collab on hops and everything like that. And just we're always kind of tweaking different yeast strains and like different times we're going to dry hop, whether it's active fermentation or just doing interesting weird things because you just don't want to do the same process every time. So it's like you never stop learning. So we're always trying new things and researching and seeing what other people are doing and just trying to always up our game.
Man, that is. I'm glad you even see. I love how when guests segue into the questions I want to ask. Now, when it comes to ingredients, again, being in Arkansas, like where are you sourcing your hops like everyone else? Like what is the agricultural aspect looking like when it comes to ingredients in Arkansas? Are you using some local ingredients when you can, or what's your main source of ingredients?
Yeah, for the most part, we're getting our stuff from the same place everyone else is. Your Yakima Valley for hops and your BSGs and things like that as far as your grains. But Arkansas is definitely known for its rice, and that's something that shout out to Ben. And that's something that that we're going to be doing. We've got some college interns that are there because we are now they have an accredited beer program at the university, and we're like nice. They're sending interns to us to kind of work through that class. So we have a kid that he grew up on a farm in East Arkansas, and they're like rice farmers, and we're gonna kind of work with his family and do a nice rice lager here in the next few months, probably for the fall, and just use straight up Arkansas rice to do some stuff.
Man, now that sounds two things. He gets to promote his family, his family business, definitely. And then on top of that, he's working. What's the interest like with working at Core? Do you have a lot of people coming in, a lot of home brewers, or are there a lot of home brewers in Arkansas? Like what? Yeah, what is? Go ahead.
I was just say that's how I got started. Los Santos is one of my homebrew recipes that we've scaled up, and it's become something that's in Walmart now, which is pretty cool to see. But yeah, we actually now that the pandemic's over, we're hosting every month like our local homebrew club to come, supporting them. We have a pilot system that we're going to let them brew on, and they might have some kind of contest to where, whoever wins it, they'll be able to brew their recipe at Core. That's kind of how my relationship with Core started 5 or 6 years ago. I won a contest and they brewed my recipe, and that's how I started meeting people. And it was just kind of a natural thing that how I ended up there, because it was just a hobby. So things like that. Yeah, use our equipment, and we're always happy to, if how it is. Like, I used to be that guy when I was a home brewer. I would see a brewer and ask them questions, and now that I'm on the other side of it, like, I love getting asked questions, and I'm always happy to answer questions. And that's something that I always appreciated about home brewing, especially, is that people were never hoarding secrets. It was always like, if they had a question, people were always eager to help you and learn, and that's what I'm kind of happy to give back.
What do college students ask you, if anything? The ones that are legal to drink, of course. All right,
and soon to be college students. What else?
Okay, the ones that are legal to drink, like, what do they show interest in, like, wanting to understand outside of just that? Oh, this is just beer. Are they asking you questions like, what is this style? Like, how did you come up with the Los Santos IPA? And, like, what are they doing when they come into the brewery? Are they just kind of like, I'm just drinking whatever, and it's the ambassadors that really pull them in as far as like what they would like? Or are they coming in there and really interested in saying, man, what is craft beer, and like, how can I be a part of it?
I think the kids that like are actually taking the classes and that are really want to be in this industry, when we identify that, Rodrigo and I are big beer nerds to begin with. Like, every vacation I take, I'm always looking where the local brewery or whatever is at, so I know where to go try different stuff. So we're always traveling and bringing different stuff and trading for different stuff, and like introducing styles to people that you just don't see around here that we're actively seeking out. And we're not, it's stuff that we like to share and get people involved in, and like things even the kind of glass you're supposed to have it in and what you're supposed to be looking for in a certain beer, you know what I mean? So when we see someone that's really genuinely eager to do that, we're always like wanting to share that with them.
The Los, I just like the can art. Like I said, man, it reminds me one of the Espadas from Bleach, the anime. That's why I keep saying that, because it's exactly what it looks like. I think it was number 2. So talk to me about your homebrew baby, the Los Santos. I said Los Santos. Los Santos. And what was tweaked to get it to that level where everyone's like, man, when are we making this again?
I did it just like as a 20-barrel pilot batch once when I was kind of freshly new there, and it got a pretty well reception from everybody. It's kind of a middle of the road. It's juicy, but it's not overly bitter. It's got a really nice malt backbone, and I'm a Southern California kid too, so like I kind of come from that loving huge IPAs. That's what got me into craft beer, and I also understand that not everybody wants a 120 IBU palate wrecker. So it's something that, like, we wanted it to be juicy and all that, but yet still have some bitterness and some bite, and kind of, a tip of the hat to that, that West Coast style without like just overdoing your taste buds.
Now, coming from SoCal and being in Arkansas, what was the shock? What was a culture shock for you in Arkansas, or was it more kind of like, not really a culture shock? It's just
it was a culture shock when I first moved here. But where we're at's a pretty awesome place. Like, we've got so much around us in a 50-mile radius. Like, there's 5 or Fortune 500 companies here. There's a university. There's so many people moving here. Like, it's how much it's grown in the last even 10 years. It's amazing. It's a really, really good place to live and, to be a part of the community. It took me a long time to accept the fact that, like, I live in Arkansas and I'm technically in Arkansas now. Coming from that was always a tough pill to swallow. But yeah, man, I mean, it's just a really, really good place to be. Great community. So we're happy to be here.
Yeah, this is first and foremost the color. I know sometimes my glass gets nice and foggy, but that color is nice. I mean, the taste definitely got a lot of malt backbone, to your point. and I'm a big bias on malt, so I'm probably not the best person when it comes to anything that once it has malt in it, I'm like, yeah, it's good. I don't care. I don't care what else you don't like about it. It's good because of the malt, especially like caramel aspect to it towards the end on the palate, kind of just lingers there along with some of the alpha acids that create that bitterness with the hops. That is definitely, I like beers like that. Something that makes you be like, that it's not a bad lingering either. Like I'm really talking right now and can still feel it's not heat.
Yeah,
it's really
just hop shred. That's what I call
exactly.
it.
Thank you, Ben. See, that's why I'm glad Ben's on the show.
Yeah, I'll say 2 words and I'll get back out.
But this one I can see why a lot of people, especially who may assume something about IPAs, to have this and be like, okay, this is not bad. And I think a lot, especially over here in California, they're like Strikes Brewing Company out there in San Jose, California. They're doing triple. They got the triple play that's like 11%. You have Fountainhead in Sacramento that had I think it was like a 9% or a 10% there. You have a couple other triple IPAs that are getting more malt aspect, and a lot of people are like, wait a minute, this is an IPA, because the hops are the flavor's still there, but the alpha acids are very tame because of the amount of malt characteristics that you get in the forefront. So, man, you're doing a good job on that. I'm looking forward to a. Let's see. Hold on. Let me not jump the gun, because we got a 6.2 without killing this thing. I'm thinking, let's say 7.5, 8. What do you think, Ben? If we can get it up there,
the question I was going to ask is, can they even do that and sell it the way that they sell it?
There you go.
Out in Arkansas, I assume it's different about that ABV stuff.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, that's one of our Walmart beers. So all the like state grocery, we're limited to 6.2.
Oh, damn! So you
6.3, and like when we did the black is. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, just get it under there, or just keep it at the max, like go as high as you can without going over.
Yeah, we definitely try to push it to as far as we can, but
Price is Right rules.
The Black is Beautiful campaign, and we actually spoke with Marcus at Weathered Souls, and basically had to do a really scaled down version of his, which was an imperial stout. We used all the same grains and all that, but we had to keep it below 6.3 for all that. Wow. So like some of the other breweries were barrel aging it, doing all this crazy stuff and doing 10-12% in other states, and our hands were kind of tied, with how far we could go with the beer. But we got a lot of great, feedback on that, and it was a lot of fun to do, even with the constraints that we had.
So when you're dealing with those constraints, to Ben's point, like how do you approach something like a stout where most people, they don't, like East Brother, which is out here in Richmond, California, they have like a 4.5 oatmeal stout.
Yeah, their oatmeal stout.
Yes, and it's a wonderful. It's a beautiful stout, very classic, but just has a lot of flavor, and a lot of people who drink it, who are not even stout fans, are like, "Oh, this is good." How do you balance that out, especially when you want to introduce something like a stout to people who are coming from a place in Arkansas where it's like, if I'm drinking a lager, most people are like, a stout? I don't want coffee. Right. How did you balance that out when it came to the Black is Beautiful beer, and then just in beer in general, when you are at a limit of like 6.2, 6.3%, like how do you approach that?
With that, like I said, the Black is Beautiful thing, we still wanted to like pay homage to his original recipe. So, it's all about just, experience too, and like kind of knowing your ingredients, which, helps a lot, because you have an idea of how much you can kind of scale back the astringency that you get from some of your darker malts if you overdo it, or that roastiness, because it's super easy to overdo. So it's really, it probably would have been a lot more difficult if, we just weren't as experienced as we are. And that's, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of brewers that know way more than I do, but it's just something that, we're just comfortable with the ingredients we know, and we kind of know what we're going to get from them. So it makes it a little bit easier than if you were just, going off the top and didn't really know what you were getting into.
Man. Okay, I do have a question while you're doing your sniff test.
You take over. I'm just sniffing, making sure.
We talked about,
it's good to me.
We talked a little bit we talked a bit about how you get your guys' ingredients, but I'm looking at, 2 beers here that feature fruit. Where are you getting your guys' fruit? Is it like an extract you're using? Are you grabbing like a syrup? Or are you actually getting local fruits and putting that in there, or what?
It just depends on the product. We try to do like pureed fruit, like aseptic, like Oregon fruits and stuff. That's a big supplier.
Okay.
So things like that. Sometimes we'll throw, a little extract in there and make something pop. Different things. It's just it really just depends on the product that we're doing. But we definitely try to keep it like as real and as craft in parentheses as we possibly can.
Man, this has like at least in my perspective, has at 7.5, and I'll ask my question on the 7.5 in a minute. But I like this. This is not go bad, man. This is not rancid. It just has it really tastes like something that's been aged well. Okay, like
I wasn't worried about it going bad. Just some of that hop presence might have kind of
died off a little bit. These goddamn hazies.
I know.
No shelf stability.
And you know how the haze boys are. If it's not, if it's longer than 4 days old,
we've had this.
The shelf drain pour.
This has been weeks, and I apologize for that.
Man, it happens.
This is good to me, man. So, and I know when you get it from the draft, you're always going to get something just different because of the freshness, the CO2 that's just kicking right from there from the tap or draft. So how do you? So okay, retail 6.2, 6.3 max. This off the juice is 7.5. So what is the top line? Because one of my people who follow me all the time, Terrarian. He's in Georgia, and one of the parts of Georgia that he's in, like you can't do a certain percentage. So he's doing a lot of home brew, a lot of heavy. We're talking 12, 14, 16. Actually, I'm waiting to get a 20%, 22% ABV from him.
Boy.
But like, what's the max that you can do ABV in Arkansas? And then what are people's interaction with those type of beers that have a higher ABV than with that 6.2, 6.3 max that they get from a retail store?
Like the stuff that's over 6.2 is just going to be in grocery, but like we can go way bigger than that. Like if it's because out here we have liquor store, specific liquor stores where you can do a little bit more, and like those 16-ounce cans, those are all brewery only releases. So we can kind of really do what we want. I don't know what the actual limit is. Like our barley wine was 14%, and our barrel-aged stout that we just released was 13%. But those are brewery only. And like I was saying, we have our line of RTDs that came out that are spirit based, and we also have a distiller's license, so we're able to do a little bit more than some of the other breweries. Not everybody can do some of the things that we can, so that gives us a leg up too.
So what made you when talking or the owner or founder of Core Brewing Company, what made him want to do a distillery license? And
I mean, we have an operating still at the plant. It hasn't been used since I've been there, but I mean, we have, we have one on site, and he keeps up with whatever permits and all that stuff that we have to have, especially with these new products that are coming in, because we've got a gin, rum, and vodka based deal that are coming out, and those are going into liquor stores and even into other states that you can be in grocery. We're trying to get them into as well.
Nice, man. That's what I'm talking about. It's only a few breweries that I know that are, say, like brewery and distillery, which I know in the title just says Core Brewing Co.
Well, no, it's actually our legal is Core Brewing and Distilling.
Yeah.
See, learn something new every day, all the time.
It's right there on the can.
Did I look at it? Where?
I know my camera's shitty. But...
See, look at me, not paying attention. I took Core Brewing Co, but I'm gonna put Distillery next time. So
we're not a distillery podcast. That's
we don't do the whiskey. We don't do the.
This isn't rum talk now.
Beer talk now, man. Beer talk now. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. Well, I'm trying to still get my lighting to be better. What's one thing? What's one misconception that people in Arkansas have about craft beer?
That's a tough question. It's like lumping everyone up into one category.
Yeah,
Please do it. Bunch of hayseeds in Arkansas. What's up with these hayseeds?
No. Let's say the people who are just like to craft beer. Like, what's one of their misconceptions that they have about craft beer when they always are just like, I just want whatever lager you got because that's it's all the same.
Yeah, I would definitely probably say like stout or IPAs are the most divisive. I think the hazies have kind of opened people's eyes because people, they just say automatically, I don't like IPAs. It's like, well, try one of these. They're not so bitter. They're more fruity, all that. And then, that's something that might, open people's eyes. Man, I don't know. There's just, beer is so subjective. A lot of people only like certain styles. I mean, you put a beer in front of me of any style and I'm drinking it. But I would say like overall, the demographic of Arkansas, if you did have to lump somebody in, it would be that light lager, without naming any names. But, some of those big players, would be the ones that they would probably think of first. So it's definitely, it's getting better. And don't get me wrong, man, I know people here that get stuff, go to Belgium and do all the stuff, that the biggest nerds in the world are going to be, and we got them right here in Arkansas. So I mean, for all the people that just want a big macro beer, there's people that want the most crazy, insane, expensive secondary market bottles they can get their hands on right here too. So
yeah, I guess one of the questions I would have, you came from Southern California, which is like a hotbed for beer, obviously, and has been for decades, and now you're out in Arkansas. I guess what the question would be is there a barrier to entry that you're seeing in Arkansas that doesn't really exist in California? Like, is there an accessibility issue? Is there an awareness issue? And then are you guys taking steps to overcome that?
There's definitely, our distribution here, like things that you get from other states are, sometimes a little disappointing. Because I'm always I want to try everybody's beer, so like we probably don't have like the shelf offerings that a lot of other people do. And, when you're in places like Denver or California, I mean, when you have such a saturated market, like you have to be like on top of your game. Like there's no room for mistakes to set yourself aside from the other 10 that are just like you. We don't face that here. I mean, there's, like I was saying earlier, there's more competition every day. But, I don't think it's so hard to like make a name for yourself because, when a new brewery opens up around here, like it's pretty big news, especially if you're in that scene. So I don't think so many people get lost in the shuffle here.
Good question, Ben. I like that. See, I'm telling you, man. That's why I brought you on the show. No. Brought you on the show. Ben and I are, we saw each other for the first time in person at the Oak Park Brewing Company in Sacramento, California, the Juneteenth, I call it. And I was like, Ben, and
I was like, that was great.
And we went back to drinking beer. It's always good time.
Yeah. But like, we got things to do. You got business. I can't believe you got an episode in. That was crazy. I didn't think anybody had time.
I got two episodes in. So it's fun times, man.
Because they were all slammed.
I can't wait to come to Arkansas, man, and really hang out with you and Rod and Jamie, you and Rod, and really, I just want to get that feel, especially like, I mean, Arkansas, as far as like sports teams, like professional sports teams, is it mostly college? Is that what's going on? Yeah. So so like college is like it's like the creme de la creme when they're doing it. So what is a day like when it's like a homecoming game or the beginning of the season, first home game? Like what's going down at Core Brewing Company? Are you preparing a month in advance? Like what are you doing to prepare for when everyone's like
the onslaught
beer?
Yeah, I mean it's
or just on any Saturday.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we're having food trucks. We've got lots of TVs in the pub. Obviously they're going to be on the game, and people are going to be calling the hogs. That's the war cry here. But we're also being poured at the stadium as well. So we've got people at the game, or employees and ambassadors, and just kind of making our presence felt. But yeah, any sport, I mean, when you live right here and you have all these major basketball, football, like, we're pretty competitive in all those things. I mean, it's, during those seasons, like we had the number one baseball team, in the country, and like our football team's getting better. And when you got LSU or Alabama coming to town, like it's going to be
rivalry.
it's going to be a party. So yeah, it's a big it's a big deal. Especially football. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Our stadium's pushing 80,000 people now. It's getting pretty big, so it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah. What is your anticipated growth coming in from you're going to have your first full football season coming up? Do you just anticipate it's going to be just a madhouse as far as how your business grows? I mean, I would assume that's the assumption, but are you ready for that? Just the sheer volume of growth and production you have to do when people start drinking your beers at games, especially during football season. That I feel like is just going to be so much for. I know it's just you and Roddy last time we talked as far as the Brewers. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, it still is. Still is just the two of us. Yeah, I mean, we have a pretty big facility. I think that's what a lot of people are surprised about, how expansive our place is when they come. Because it wasn't purposely built to be a brewery. It was kind of retrofitted to be one. So it's pretty expansive, and it's we get it done, and we definitely have the logistics in place to keep up with those kind of demands. But
Awesome.
We, as every person and probably every industry knows, through this last year and a half, just lead times and getting raw materials, and it's even tough to get aluminum. It's tough to get even a truck when you do secure the materials that you need to even be scheduled and get in there. So that's been a constant fight. But we've continued to grow and get better, and we actually had a better year through the pandemic than we did previously. So we're definitely on the right track, and we're battling through just like everybody else is.
Getting to them, selling those cans, man. Selling those 16
Get those
cans.
seltzers out.
And seltzers, 16-ounce cans to go beer. People are like, man, I'm at the house. What am I doing? I'm drinking. That's what the hell I'm doing. With that, do you look at the aspect, because everyone right now is happy that states are opening all up, or they never closed for certain southern states. Does the management team, the co-founder, are you looking at doing more in-house, and what I mean by in-house is, to your point about finding a truck to go pick up the aluminum and bring it to you? Do you all look at how do we do this so that we're self-sufficient in that, or is that just more so hey, we've got to deal with that as it comes? Because I know, let me not say I know, but with this aspect of the second variant coming around, I mean, Airbnbs around the world are sold out because everybody's just getting on these planes and moving all around. How are you preparing for a second wave of possibly hey, we might have to shelter in place again?
I mean, for one, I think the majority of everybody that works there, we all believe in science. So, everyone's vaccinated and, trying to do the right things. We shut down like everybody else did, but we're all vaxxed, and we still try to do all the right protocols and all that stuff. You just kind of only hope that your neighbors and fellow members of your community are kind of doing all the right things, which is a tall ask. But, I mean, we're all in it together. So, we just kind of, at this point, put your head down and just try to keep moving forward. But, like you said, with those other things, it's trying to get ahead of everything. It's we're a business, and it takes money to make money. So we got to always find a way to, you got to sell the stuff to be able to buy more. So it's a constant, juggling and all that stuff. So I don't envy the finance guy's job. Just being a brewer and putting stuff in the tank is, I'll take that rather than some of that, office stuff.
I agreed with that. I do a lot of office stuff, so it's funny how people don't understand how simple just making a sign that says "Do not do something" and bringing a picture. Everyone's like, "Man, I could do that in no time." And then you sit in the meeting and it's like, "Oh, I didn't even think about that." Yeah, I know you didn't. That's what it is. But when it comes to what's in your tank, what's mostly in your tank right now? What's paying the bills day in, day out? And then what else are you wanting to experiment with, as maybe in a small batch, or you're just doing maybe in the smaller pieces of equipment so that you don't take up a lot of space of what is really making the margin, I mean, the money be generated for Core Brewing?
Yeah, what's that core of core?
Yeah, good question.
Any more Scarlet Letter
Thank
is
you,
like by far, our seltzer is just it's crazy how successful it's been, and we're always trying to do a new flavor, limited release, because that's also what drives excitement. We're returning one of our past fan favorites for the summer, and like we kind of do seasonal drops of different like one-off flavors. So that's been like a really huge thing for us. And then at the end of the day, we always remember that we're still a brewery. So continuing to keep stuff on the shelves at Walmart, and what excites Roddy and I are our barrel age program, and just doing like the 16-ounce cans, doing the small batch stuff that we're just doing, small canning runs, and just doing brewery only. And like when we release those on Fridays, having a food truck or whatever, and seeing a line for these releases of 4-packs that are going to sell out quick. That's kind of what keeps us excited, and always wanting to continue to innovate and do stuff. But to answer your question, like Scarlet Letter is far and away becoming the big elephant in the room for us. That's just leading the way.
And what's in Scarlet Letter as seltzer, or is that something?
Yeah, that's our seltzer.
So I missed that because again I was running my mouth too much when you mentioned. Now I'm just being honest, when you mentioned about the seltzer, what is the in-house in the brewery? What's the highest ABV that you're looking to go, or where you're at now with the seltzer, and where are you looking to go with seltzers? Because out here in California, we're talking 15% ABV seltzers. Sometimes like with John Galooly, shout out to him, and Drake's Barrel House, where he left that. I think he had that was a 13. They tried to work for a 23, 25, but they fell short to I think about like a 18 or something like that. So I just wanted to know, because seltzers seem like they're here to stay. I mean, seltzers are pretty much Zima. If anybody remember what the hell Zima was back in the 90s.
I'm old enough.
Yeah. That was my first alcoholic beverage. Throw a Jolly Rancher in there.
Exactly. So where are you at currently with your ABV on seltzers, and where would you like to go to where you think the customer base will be like, yeah, we'll do it?
Right now, it's like our base flavors. They're all 4.3%. Like I said, 84 calories, half a carb. Like they're pretty good numbers for what a lot of people are looking for. But we've definitely I can't get too much into specifics because we haven't made any announcements yet. But we definitely have a couple of tricks up our sleeve that will be coming out through the summer sooner than later. So there's some things that we're pretty excited about that are coming down the pipeline that we've yet to announce. And we've considered kind of doing some of those smoothie style, like small batch, fruited seltzers with, tons of fruit and, playing with the ABV. But, just right now, just driving so hard to keep the lights on with everything else we're doing. It's getting more and more difficult through these summer months to find time to do the stuff we want because we're so busy with some of the other stuff that's, we can't keep on the shelves. Which is a good problem.
Yeah, definitely a good problem. Yeah, definitely a good problem to have is that you can't keep the stuff you make on the shelf, but taken away from the creativity. And at the end of the day, it's art. It's art and science mixed together, as a lot of things are. And I just continue making the money so that you can, like you said, keep the lights on, but also always challenge yourself so you don't get stagnant and just stuck on doing one thing to where you forget to use your skills pretty much. Use it or lose it. That's the saying. So, man, that is great. So I guess my last question, and I always say this last question, I end up asking multiple questions, but like last question, and this is a sales pitch, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Why should people come to Arkansas and come to Core Brewing Company? Core Brewing, Core Brewing and Distillery, and Distillery. Like, why should they come? And and what beer would you tell them the first beer they got to drink?
Ooh, man, that's a tough question. Of course, they're all good.
Right.
I would have to say, probably Larry's Lager would be the one that's going to be the most appealing to most people. You just had
a long trip. Have this lager.
Yeah. But we're really proud of all of our small batch stuff. I know you didn't open that barley wine, but in my opinion,
I'm gonna open it. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna get that.
That's the best beer we've ever made, in my opinion. Like that's
and I'll know more about that in 6 months.
Yeah, that's our baby.
This guy. See,
drink it. I'll send you another one.
There you go. That's what I'm talking. See, Jamie, that's why we're interviewing you right there, man. Send you another. Go ahead. Sorry,
but yeah, man. We're just super excited about our barrel aged beers. So I know it's super hot and humid here, but a couple weeks ago we just released our batch 2, which is our barrel aged imperial stout that we're really stoked about. So that would probably honestly maybe the second one if no one's ever tried a barrel aged beer. Have a Larry's and then take a couple sips of this. We're just really proud of everything we're doing, man. Like driving innovation and our small batch stuff. We love our hazies, our fruited sours. Like we just continue to keep doing and learning more styles, and obviously don't want to be pigeonholed into those two or three styles. We want to have a vast array, and challenge ourselves to keep being better brewers and putting out a better product.
I like that answer. Ben, anything?
Oh, I have so much to add.
Good. Perfect. Go ahead.
I think, like we talked about with keeping the lights on with the seltzers, I feel like the core of core is the seltzers, that Larry's Lager and a Los Santos, and I think they're all just dynamite beers. I feel like that Los Santos is like a classic old school IPA with a little bit more bitterness than you get in old school, like a little bit new. The Off the Juice, like initially my first taste was like, man, I'm not crazy about it. The more I drink, I'm like, oh, this is like a hazy for real IPA drinkers. No shots fired. A little bit of shots fired.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
A little bit.
You want the smoke. You want the
bitterness. That's like if you want a real IPA, it's there too. So yeah, I'm just like, these guys knock it out of the park. I feel like you can just hand anybody a beer. Like, what do you drink? They're like, you give you an intro style. You're like, here you go. They're like, oh, I'm happy. So, that's the best you can do for your customer is what do you like? What's the flavor profile you enjoy? Here you go. Matched it. Have a good one.
Oh, man. I love what I do. Jamie, man, this was a pleasure. I don't have any more questions. I probably off the juice, like you said, maybe a little bit with the hops, as you talked about, just having an issue. You didn't know if it would be an issue with that. To me, I like the way it tastes. Favorite one though, because I'm looking over at the beers. Man, yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the Los Santos, man. I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to say that's the one that I would be knocking back a few of them. I will say the off the juice though, because it has a higher ABV of 7.5. I'm probably going to drink more of those than I would do. Right. The Los Santos would probably be like my third pint, but the first two are definitely going to be off the juice just because they're at the 7.5. And the barley wine, once I open that, give that a shot with the family and a little bit. That might be the one too. Huh?
You're not going to do a big finale with
no.
Oh, okay.
Well, have it, man. If you had it,
then I am also doing that.
Yeah, if you want me to go get it, I'll let you ask another question before I pop it open. But reality is, I'll probably just drink it off camera.
I'm just like, I'm drinking alone right now, man. I don't have anybody to help me finish these cans off. So that's really my jealous reason, selfish reason to not bust that barley wine out. Like, there's no one here to help me. That's really the entirety of the reason.
No, well, we're definitely excited to hear what you guys think because we're
there'll be a video
proud of that one.
Yeah,
hopefully maybe he'll do a chug. You don't know.
I think I might. We'll bust it out.
That's a sipper, man. It'll that'll be your only chug for the day, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, no. Once I do a chug, I'm done for the day. That's it. I don't do anything else. A local brewery actually put their Black is Beautiful in 12-ounce cans instead of 16, so that I can chug it for them. And it was still wreck, but. Yeah, I don't know what I was going to go with that. I was going to say, it's the 1 year anniversary of that beer coming out. Are you guys? Is there's like another upswing on that beer now that it's been a year? Is there a secondary push or anything like that?
Yeah, for us, what we just it was when in February, I believe. At the moment, we don't have anything on the books, but if we get the opportunity, we would definitely. We were super happy, and it was a just for a great cause. And, we were really excited that we got asked to be a part of it, and would definitely, I don't think no one would bat an eye about doing it again. Like I said, we just wish that we could have gone more with it, not, tied to, the beer grocery, because Walmart, did such a big push for us. If we could do a brewery only one, it would be some crazy barrel aged on, marshmallows and vanilla, and we would just go to town. But we would definitely do that again, no doubt.
Yeah. Do you guys ever, since you got the brewing and distilling, do you guys put your beers in your own, what are they called?
Barrels.
Barrels. There you go. That's the word.
No, we don't have any of our own. We've just been getting them from brokers thus far. Like I said, we're not currently producing spirits.
Yeah, I was just double checking in case I misunderstood. Like you said, you had it still, but it hasn't been used. Like, maybe there's something I'm missing. I'll double check.
It's been used. It's just not currently being operated. But it does work, and we can do it. Just keeping up with everything else we do. It's like, where the hell would you find the time?
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Well, Beer Talk Now community, thank you for joining us. And again, remember to like, share, subscribe always, okay? Because we definitely got to get that YouTube algorithm to pop us up. I want to be at the top level with all the other beer podcasters. Like shout out Alabama Boss. I think that's who that is. That guy's funny to me. So he's just hilarious to me. I think he is on YouTube. Hey, Jamie, I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much for joining us. Sure. Arkansas. Shout out to Arkansas. I got my girl has family there. Shout out to my social media.
Oh yeah,
as Davis. So looking forward to coming out there.
Get a family reunion on the books, D.
Got to do it. It's there every year. So now that COVID's at least the first stage is where we feel comfortable. Maybe 2022, 2023, I'll be out there and definitely gonna be like, hey, I'm here, man. I'm gonna just pull up. Call it, email, call, text, whatever, and just make it happen. So I appreciate you. Yeah.
Oh, actually, Jamie, when is the best time for him to have a family reunion in Arkansas?
That's a good question. Thank you.
The worst weather possible.
Oh yeah, man. The summer, it's like you guys are getting crazy weather too, but it was brutal here about a week ago. But the fall is definitely the best time of year when the leaves are changing, because we do get 4 seasons out here. So I remember California, it's just warm and then warm. So out here definitely September, October is.
It's only a few months away, G.
Yeah. Next year, I said, Ben. Next year.
No, I'm just trying to push. I was trying to push earlier because I'm enjoying that.
That's how you are.
In the northwest corner of Arkansas, man. Anybody listening, come check us out.
That's what I'm talking about. Jamie, it was a pleasure. Ben, as always, we always have fun every time we get on together and talk. Beer Talk Now. I'm drinking beer, a lot of it. I'll just pull up the can, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's what I'm drinking. That's so crazy.
I'm drinking beer. What are you drinking? And I will catch you all on the next episode of Beer Talk Now. Cheers.
Cheers.